Hello, hello, staring at my other monitor. Hello, welcome to the AquaStax Hour with me, Long Steve, on a Thursday afternoon at just a couple of minutes before 3 o'clock on Thursday the 9th of February. Checking my calendar there. Right, I like these Thursday afternoon streams. The Tuesday evening ones tend to be a bit late. I do 8 till 9 o'clock and it's kind of a bit tired by the end of the day. But these ones I'm nice and bright and still daylight, so I feel pumped up for doing this. And I had a fairly good plan for what I was going to do today. So I'll just chat to myself for a little bit and my bot Tim while there's nobody else that I can see that's joined the stream. In fact, we'll kick off Chrome first, and then we'll start the what's the Chrome the Google Doodle for the day? Carmen Miranda's 108th birthday. Wow, excellent. And then gulp, isn't it? Yes, gulp serve. Right. Let's see. What have we got? A couple of warnings from JS Hint. I might just have a quick look at these while I'm here. So we've got double equals, which should be a triple equals. Let's fix that. And we've got this. It was whinging about axis collision. Now I've defined axis and slope collision here, haven't I? So what I should do is just label them as global in some way, I suppose. I wonder if I can do that. How do I label a global inside JS Hint? I must have done that somewhere. Let's see if we've got some. Oh, we've got globals here. Globals. Oh, that's my globals classes. No, not classes. Functions. Global functions and methods. We have. I'm not still muted. Am I? No, good. Just setting things up earlier. Hopefully it'll work. I'm actually subtly different configuration on my desktop today. I'm running my PC in Linux at the moment, Ubuntu 16.04, which I upgraded literally last night and left it running overnight and finished it off this morning. It was on 14.04, the long-term service support version, and I upgraded to 16.04. Usually I have my PC booted into Windows on the left monitor and my Mac on the middle and the right for this stream. And I share the keyboard and mouse with Synergy. Obviously, Synergy has a Linux version as well, so I'm doing exactly the same thing. It's just running with Linux instead of Windows. But you never know, sometimes the keyboard mapping with Synergy might be subtly different, or I might end up with a key thing that does the wrong thing. Anyway, we'll see if it works okay. There was another thing I was just going to check. Yes, I was looking for globals, wasn't I? And let's see, I don't think it'll be in there. It might be in the main. Let's see if I have labeled any JS Hint. Yeah, it could be config. No, let's Google this. I'm going to quickly see what JS Hint I need to do to tell it that those constants are, well, they're not constants, although they should be, but they're globals. JS Hint global, I suppose. Options reference global scope. Nope, global. So yeah, this option can be used to specify a white list of global variables that are not normally defined in the source. So this is probably a high-level configuration option that I don't necessarily want. I just kind of want to configure globals within an individual file. See, inline configuration, that's what I want, right? Inline configuration, here we are. In addition to using configuration files, you can configure JS Hint from within your files using special comments. Yep. These comments start with the labels such as JS Hint or globals. In fact, that's what I want to use. Excellent. I've even given an example of exactly how I want to do things. Right, let's just check I'm streaming. I'm pretty certain I am, but you never know. Sometimes it won't necessarily tell me. Yeah, looks like I am. Excellent. I can stop that. I don't need to give myself some feedback and do the business. So I want in here globals axis collision. Now, is it comma separated list? Yeah, it looks like it probably is. Comma separated list of values, yes. Axis collision, slope. Collision. Control S. Let's see if that's happy with game.js now. Okay, looks like it is. And what else was there? It was complaining about grid.js. So grid.js, self is defined but never used. Oh yeah, there are a couple of things that are necessarily finished yet, although this function is pretty well finished, I think. Trouble is, removing that self equal this, I'll end up needing it at some point and I'll expect it to be there. I wonder if I can temporarily remove that defined but never used setting. Let's see. Never used. Let's see what that does. You want to suppress a warning. Sometimes JS hint doesn't have an appropriate option. No. Let's see. JS hint. Okay, so that's just the. Oh, there's an unused. JS hint unused true. And what does that mean? JS hint unused true. Oh, hi, Rukwitoni or Rukwitoni. I'm not sure how you pronounce your name. Good to see you. Let's see. I'm just trying to figure out what if I can do anything about the JS hint warnings I'm getting for defined but never used. Just mumbling to myself there while nobody else is watching. JS hint unused true, but I don't want that. I only want it within the function scope. Let's just try unused false. Copy inside here. Do I have? I don't have to do a block comment. Unused false. Let's try that. That's grid.js. Ah, no, that seems to work. It now is happy with that. Let's just do the same down here. Unused false. Check the bottom, and now we only have one left. Moving obj, which is not actually is defined but never used. What I'm going to do is just, do I want to comment out or remove it? Just remove it entirely, I suppose. Control S for save. Next, all live coding TV support. Good to see it. That looks like my JS hint is all sorted out. I'm just going to quickly run it on the command line because sometimes I miss the warnings when they go up in that little tiny window there. Gulp JS hint. Now I added another option to my gulp file somewhere that allowed me to run it so it looked like it was a pretty output. How do I minus JS hint equals stylish? That's what I want. JS hint equal CY stylish. Anyway, excellent. Let's just convince myself that's doing what I expect it to. I like your chat client. Oh, cool. It's called Profanity, which is a very unusual name for a chat client. But I quite like the fact that you can run it in a console window, and I'm using iTerm, which is really cool, and you can have subtle transparency on the window and things like that. It uses the XMPP, which is the Jabber protocol. Basically, it just connects straight to live coding TV chat. I did. Yeah, because I see it's running in console. Yeah, indeed. So this is it, profanity.im. I don't know why it's called that, but it seems to work pretty well. The other option, which seems to be popular among people who like command line chat, is IRSSI, which is a command line IRC client. But I didn't get that working when I tried building it for Mac, along with the connectors that allow it to connect to Jabber servers. Anyway, that's a bit of an aside. Let me just, I was just going to remove, I put that back in. There we go, save that. Go to the right window, run that again, it should warn me. There it is, moving object is defined but never used, so I'm just going to get rid of that. So that's probably the only thing there was. Right, now, back to what I was actually going to do this day, today. So, I was reasonably pleased with myself at the end of Tuesday when I had my blocks working pretty well. They were dropping up and down on the screen. They were sliding as well. That was the thing I'd done. If I've seen the game working. Yep, it's looking pretty reasonable. That should slide off to the left there. Yep. It's completed. No, I'm remaking an old game, which I wrote many years ago. So the game you see on the live coding TV page, the little animated GIF or animated GIF, if you like to call it, is of the mobile phone version that I wrote 10 years ago. I'm now rewriting it and remaking it using JavaScript and the Cocos2d-JS framework. So I've only been doing it a couple of months, and I'm only doing this like 2 to 2.5 hours a week, 2 streams. So this is as far as I've got so far. So there's lots of things left to do, but we just got as far as the blocks sliding. So if I drop that there, we should slide. Yep. And again, it'll slide down there. So the sliding's working pretty well. So today, I'm going to fix something which hasn't been working right, and that is the ability to slide blocks into little gaps. So if I do that, this block as it comes down here, this square should slot nicely into that gap, and if I hold the left key down, it just moves right past it and ignores it. And similarly with this one, even though it should slide in, it doesn't. And I've tried various ways of getting it to do it by tapping the key, and nothing's worked so far. So that's my plan for today. Get that little sliding in place, and once that sliding block's in place, then I think it's time to start looking at breaking blocks, which is where blocks merge together and break. Anyway, so I had my note here, and the first thing I did just before I started the stream was have a quick look at this bit of code for moving the keys left and right. How fast can they move? That's a good question, and actually the comment I just noticed was let the keyboard repeat rate handle holding down a key. So what happens is if I hold down the left key, it kind of jumps fairly quickly after an initial pause, or there's an initial pause when it moves once, and then it moves left and right. I don't know if you can see that on the stream. And I didn't do anything special to implement that, so I assume it's the keyboard repeat rate, because what the code actually does is in the update loop, so the actual key action, this is called every time the key is pressed or released, and it just stores the key pressed as a true or false value. And inside the update loop, it checks to see whether or not key left or key right are pressed. And it sets dx, which is the, interestingly, it's self.dx. Oh yeah, okay. It's just storing it in the object. And then if self.dx is not 0, it then sets the keys pressed left and right as false. So it turns off the fact that the key is pressed. But this bit of code must be driven multiple times because the block continues to go left and right. But my concern is I don't know why it's doing that, and I don't know how fast it's doing it, and it might be different on different machines, and it's probably going to be different when I run it on a mobile phone, like an iPhone or an Android device, because I'm not controlling the keyboard repeat rate of the block moving left and right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this, and then I'll actually have the variable that says the key is held down or not all the time. Then I can fix the glitch where it's not moving into the slot. So let's start doing that. So let the keyboard repeat rate handle. If I take this out, if I just let the thing only use the keyboard callback for setting true and false on the keys, then what happens is I think it zips really quickly because it actually runs at 1 movement left or right per frame, which is 60 times a second. So it's nipping left and right pretty quick, and that's a bit too fast. That's uncontrollable. I can't accurately position the block. So I need to specify what it's actually going to be. Although, do I want to try? I might just try creating a little gap. See if I can get one to land in it or to slide into it. There we go. All right. See the up and down. They're doing. Whoa, that's spinning along really fast as well now. So yeah, I'm going to have to fix this. I'm going to hold the key left. See if it dives in now. No, it doesn't go in at all. So it's not actually the keyboard thing. There's actually a collision testing that's failing or going wrong there. But we'll get back to that in a minute. So what I want to do is I want to decide on the rate at which the block is going to slide left and right. And actually this will maybe something I could change in the future. I could stick it into config, or globals. Where's config? Let's do. Actually, I'll just do it in here for now, and then we'll refactor it later. So what I want to do is just stick a number. Horizontal repeat rate. Repeat, and it's not a rate. I want it at some kind of time, and we want. Let's just do it at half a second. So ideally, I want the block to move one square every half a second while I'm holding the key down. So 500 milliseconds, and we need to store the millisecond timer somewhere as well. I mean, I could do it on I could actually just do a counting of the updates, because I should in theory be running at 60 frames a second. But I wonder if that probably will change. If a browser is running really slowly, it won't be running at actual 1 frame every 16 milliseconds. So it'll probably need actual millisecond timing rather than just counting frames or counting updates. That's always a bad idea. So collision test indicators, keyboard, repeat timer. I'll just have one for now. Keyboard millisecond. Keyboard delay. Yeah, keyboard delay millisecond. There we go. What's it going to be? 0. Right. Keyboard delay milliseconds. So what I want to do is every time the key is held down, I want to set that to 0. So it could be left or right, isn't it? So if key code, equals key dot left, or I'm going to do triple equals there. cc dot key dot right. So I want self dot. So clear that every time a key is pressed down. Yeah. And then I want to update that within the while it's pressed left or right, I want to update it. So let's come back in here. So I suppose I can cheat for a minute and do plus equals 16, or whatever the exact number for 60 frames a second is. It's going to be 1000 divided by 60, but I probably want to do that subtly differently in a minute. Right. And handle the repeat. So I want to turn off the key pressed if the delay is greater than what I set up here was going to be my repeat rate. All right. So that, or do I want to do that? No, I don't want to do that. Oh no, I could do it. Yeah, I turn it off. No. I'm trying to think through the logic. What I want to do is I want the keys turned off, but if the keyboard delay goes over that, I want to set it back to 0. If keyboard delay is over that, definitely set it back to 0. Some brackets. And I only want to actually action the left and right if the keyboard delay is equal to 0. Is that going to work? Yeah, quite possibly. So what will happen is when it's set to 0, the update will occur. The frame that the key is pressed will trigger the left and right movement, and after that I don't want that movement to be actioned until the next until the keyboard delay goes back to 0 again. So if left or right else equal to 0, if it sounds a bit sort of around the houses, but we'll see if it works. If it doesn't equal 0, actually we want self.dx equal to 0. So that will clear the key. So don't move until the repeat rate expires, or repeat delay. And actually we probably just want to do this, don't we? Put it in here, and we can move this back out to here. Right, let's see what's going on with that then, whether it's going to work. Okay, well that's good. It's definitely working left and right. It's quickly, so obviously whenever I hit the button, the callback occurs up here, delay is set to 0. The first update loop through after that triggers the DX to be 0, but it doesn't clear DX. But after that, because keyboard delay is greater, or keyboard delay milliseconds, it gets increased. That doesn't happen. So if I do, what I could do is, I could do an else in here actually. Else self.dx equals 0. Don't move until the repeat delay expires. So handle the left-right repeat when the key is held down. Okay, so that still works. Ooh, no, I've broken it. What did I do? So if it's greater than that, else dx is equal to 0. I probably didn't understand the logic well enough. So what happens? Don't move. So it's if it doesn't equal 0, I could put it's greater than 0. No movement. Right, as long as the key is still held down. So this logic worked, didn't it? If you ask me, that seems faster than half a second, though. That's not working right, is it? If this is 1 second, no, it's still doing the same thing. It's probably firing this. So in this case, this key action is being fired every whatever the keyboard repeat rate is. So it's clearing it all the time still. So actually this bit of code isn't doing anything at all yet. So what do I want to do? If I remove this from here, let's see. So if keyboard delay milliseconds is greater than 0, clear the movement. So while it's held down, so as long as if actually that logic that I just copied, so if key press left or right, so this is while it's held down, then we increment it. I don't want else because it's, is it, maybe I do, set it to 0. Alright, let's see what that does. Ooh, that's interesting. There's an initial pause, but then it's going rather erratically. Why is it going erratically? It must be because the actual key action is letting it off, isn't it? So let's, I'm just going to do a let's have a look at the debugger, see what it's doing. Console. No, I'm holding it down, and it definitely isn't letting go. Am I missing the... Oh no, it's hitting my breakpoints. It's not even flagging a thing when I let the key go, is it? Let's just do if not pressed, released. Oh no, we are there. Hang on a minute. See, I'm pressing it down. As long as I'm holding it down, it's getting released every time. What's going on there? Right, I'm not going to be able to see this very easily. Key pressed and released, so that was a 1. Key pressed and released, and as long as I hold it down, it's literally, I'm just doing a 1 hold and it's pressing and releasing lots and lots of times. This is very annoying. Let's see if there's some kind of keyboard repeat that's going on here. I'm going to have to Google this. I wonder if there's a setting. How to make repeat action while key is pressed. Is it possible to override the key down repeat delay? What am I looking at? Actually, this is JavaScript, so maybe it's a JavaScript thing. The example is a text box. Oh, yes. So this is people of discussing on Stack Overflow about keyboard repeat rates. This is C++. Oh, maybe it's just JavaScript. Keyboard. Ooh. Yes, I did mean that. Google. I love how Google knows what you mean, even before you do. How to capture key repeats with JavaScript? Well, I don't want key repeats. Prevent. Could that be it? Do I need to do something with prevent default? Let's see. If I put a breakpoint in the key release, I want to see where it's called from. Sources, game. So on pressed, it's supposed to be on pressed and on released, but that on released is definitely being called when I'm not letting go of the key. So let's go. There it is. Right, where's it come from? Call stack. So listener, self pointer on key released, on listener callback, dispatch event. Anonymous function. This is the actual add canvas event listener. Key down and key up. But my key up didn't happen. I didn't press the key up. Or I didn't let the key go. So a key up event shouldn't have occurred. And it does a prevent default. So how is that? I wonder if it's Synergy doing something. What am I looking at? I want to get rid of that breakpoint there. I'm going to use my Mac keyboard. I've got a Mac keyboard, wireless one, directly on the Mac. Let's just make sure it's working. Yep, Bluetooth. And left and right. No, it's still doing it. Why am I getting key released events? It must be something to do with the keyboard rate of the OS, but I don't want that. So how do I figure out that the key is actually released for real? Complicated. What time are we? 3:30. I might stop worrying about this for a minute and dive into my other bit of getting the block to slot into place properly, because that's another bit of interesting code. I wasn't planning on spending too long fiddling around with these key press functions. So I'll have another quick Google. Is it Mac OS maybe? Mac OS JavaScript keyboard repeat key up event. Let's see, keyboard JavaScript madness keyboard events. Some guy here has written about it a while ago. This document summarizes the results of some browser tests done while attempting to implement keystroke handling in JavaScript. It documents inconsistencies in the way different browsers implement keyboard events. Oh, great. Event triggering. Hang on a minute. We've got key down and key press and key up. So the key down event occurs when a key is pressed, followed immediately by the key press event. The key up event is generated when a key is released. But it doesn't look like it to me. It looks like the key up is generated continuously, unless I'm seeing a different, unless I'm doing the wrong thing. Let's go on pressed, on released. Let's just see what's going on here. So there's back to released. So the actual JavaScript code is definitely, it's not key pressed that's occurred. It's definitely key up. Let's see if I can take a closer look at that keyboard event. We'll do that. Home and end does something different when inside Chrome. Debug it. Let's just arrow left. Keyboard event. There it is. Right. Cancelable. Detail. There might be something in here that tells me if it's repeated. There's repeat false. That's interesting. I wonder. Does that actual event we lose the actual JavaScript event. I'm wondering if that repeat false is set to true when a repeat event occurs. I wonder if it is. It's difficult to test this because it's just going to trigger that, isn't it? I know what I could do. I could just quickly count events. So let's do a key actions 0, and what I want to do is in released key actions actually I want if key actions plus plus is greater than 0, break here. Right. I didn't reload because it was stuck in a breakpoint. Did I save that? Yeah. Key action. Oh, it's down here, isn't it? Break here on that line. Right. So. Did it break? Oh, it's also stupidly itself. Dot key actions. There we go. So that's a key released. And what I want to do is jump back here. Let's see. Oh, no, repeat is still set to full, so it wasn't doing what I thought it was going to do. Never mind. This is really awkward. So if there's no way to determine when the key is actually released, how on earth am I supposed to do anything with that? Events triggered by auto repeat. If a key is held down long enough, it typically auto repeats, and some additional events will be triggered on each auto repeat. On Macintosh and Linux systems, key modifiers usually don't auto repeat, but on Windows systems they do. Okay, well I'm on a Mac and it is auto repeating, but maybe this has changed. It's quite an old document. In most browsers, an auto repeat is sensibly treated as a character event, but not a key event. So it triggers key press, but not a key down or key up. Well, that's great. Of course, there are some variations. This is quite old. It's not even mentioning Chrome. But if it's WebKit or something like that, then normal keys, yeah. Key down, key press, text input. So Gecko in other Linuxes would actually trigger a key up. It's a bit old. I'm going to see JavaScript detecting keystrokes. Holding down a Mac key in Mac OS doesn't fire key press event. I'd have hoped that Cocos2d-JS would have abstracted this away. Cocos2d-JS keyup. Let's just see if someone else's keyboard event's not working. So that was a bug. It's probably not going to tell me what I want. Key down, key up functionality, but this is the C++ version of Cocos2d. Multiple keys depressed, multiple key presses. Yeah, I wonder if a few other games are doing the same thing, having the same problems, because it's actually the JavaScript event handler that's being fired. I presume that the only way to fix it would be some kind of like very quick debounce functionality. So if the released event comes in at a certain time after the key press, you can kind of ignore it, but that's a bit risky, I think. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about that. So at the moment, I'm getting these key released events, but do I care? Can I still? I still dive onto the next bit of code, which we'll see what that does. So I'm going to move on from that, look at it a bit more in my spare time, and figure out what I can do with the key, with the blocks slotting into place. Let's just see what's going on, because it was going a bit funny before. Yeah, now it's giving me this funky delay. So well, what's happening is it's repeating quickly for the half a second or the 1 second I have my delay at, and then it's triggering, going back to 0 again, isn't it? So, I mean, do I just get rid of this entirely? I think maybe I should. Let's see. Keyboard delay, a second. I'm just going to get rid of this entirely for now. So we basically just went down here, didn't we? Yeah, so it's still working okay. Right. So the trick to getting blocks to slide in place, what's that going to involve? I think it's going to... you must tell me what your name is. Whether it's Luke or Tony. Maybe you're Tony. Or something else. Just because Rook Wee Tony is a bit of an unusual name. So, and I know you've watched me once or twice before. So if you pop back in, I'll know. I'll know what you prefer to be called as. Or called by. Let's see. We kind of want the left and right movement. So it's down here. Test to see if a forwarding block can move sideways. So the trick should be that this should be returning true, and as in it can move sideways when there's no actual collision going on. But it's not, probably because it's not testing the collision on an exact boundary. So how do I test this? I know. I'm going to stick some kind of highlight. I've had lots of highlights over the past. I've got collision points. I'm going to have another one. I'm going to add movement highlight, movement left or right highlight. So move highlight. Just going to cough as well. Got a little bit of a frog in my throat. Use my Mac keyboard to set the mute. There we go, right. Hotkeys only work on my actual Mac keyboard, not my virtual shared keyboard. Move highlight. Draw rect, isn't it? cc.p 00 p 50/50 block size. Color green or something like that. Red, green, blue, alpha. Hide it to start with, and then what I'm going to do is down here. So if collision would occur, don't attempt to move sideways. So I'm going to highlight the set position. I'm going to just stick it in the new block position. Just put it there, I guess. Dot. Can I set the color? So if collision would occur, actually no, I'm going to do it in here. So if it can move, I want the green block. Otherwise, I don't want it. I want it just hidden. Right. Let's see what that does. Oh, I've got to add it to the scene hierarchy. So I get to do that. So self dot game panel dot add child. Z order. Right. So there's the green block if it can move left and right. Ah, surprised it wasn't triggered there. Is that a different function? Right. Oh, I missed the bit where I wanted to test it sliding sideways. Nope, not that. There we go. So if I hold the left key down, no, it doesn't actually trigger at all. So if collision would occur, don't attempt to move sideways. Test to see if the falling block can move sideways. Well, that's what I'm trying to do. Maybe we'll set the color to something different. Highlight, clear. Let's make it out of a different colored block. So red, if it can't move, like that, and oh, interestingly, color needs to go there, doesn't it? And green if it can move. 0 RGB, right. Let's see what that does. Something like that. Low game. Oh, better off looking there, aren't I? Block size is not defined. Ah, yeah, okay. I have to use that since I copied and pasted. Alright, so it's green. Ah, there, it's flashing red. As I hold the key down, it flashes red, which is that's when I actually trigger the function. I'll tell you what, I can do a test. So if I just arbitrarily add in another, okay, indicate the left-right movement ability of the block. So get rid. Let's just do this again. dx. So in this case, dx is 0. In most cases, what I want to do is new block position. So we want to do it left and right. Let's get rid of that. So if collision would occur dx, self.dx, that's going to be 0, it's block size, so it's just literally moving it plus or minus that, isn't it? So indicate the left movement ability. So that's going to be minus equals that. Collide block, self.block, new block position. In fact, I'm going to change that to test block position so I don't get a funky side effects. Don't worry about that. So if it can move left, then new block position else. So that's just going to do we want test block position. So this should just put a red or a blue block on the left hand side of the block, and I can move it with any luck. Once it gets there, now it goes red, so it can't move to the left. That's right. So let's stick the same again. Bit of copying and pasting going on here, but that doesn't matter, it's just test code. Let's do the same again for the moving right. So plus equals. Of course I need another block, don't I? I don't want to clear it. What I want to do is I want to move highlight. I need two of them now, don't I? So move highlight left, move highlight right. Just throw away code. So move highlight left, move highlight right, left, left, left. Actually, don't need to care about that. Move highlight right. I could put that in a little array, but I'm just copying and pasting to get things done quick. Right. Move left and right. So down here, test block. This is the left one is the first. And the right one. Dot. Okay, now we've got two of them. That one goes right there, and that one goes right there. Perfect. Right, now let's see if I can drop make a nice gap. There we go. I should make these slightly transparent actually. So the blocks, oh, red, 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 but it doesn't flash green at any point when that lands, does it? Now, yeah, red obviously. So what I want to do is see why it's not flashing green, and then fix that. If I fix that, then it should allow me to move it in. Let's just do 128, 128. Just want to be able to 28, 128. Make it slightly transparent. There we go. Right. So I can get rid of that. Get rid of that. Indicate the left movement ability of the block, the left and right movement ability. So why is it not going to be colliding properly? Probably because the point when it actually slots exactly between the two places, it's not going to it's still not going to be exactly on the pixel, on the exact grid boundaries. It's going to be another issue of aligning with the grid exactly for the collision functions to work right. Now here's an interesting thing. Do I still have my old test code where I could move my thing around with a mouse? No, I don't. But what I want to do is, can I move the block down one grid square at a time? Yeah, let's try that. What I'm going to do is, rather than move it down arbitrarily, I'm going to actually move it down one block size at a time. And I'm going to do that with a button press. So dy. So at the moment we're doing 60 or 1/60th of a grid cell per frame is what it's doing. So it takes 1 second. Yeah, because it's 60 frames a second. It takes 1 second for the block to move from one cell to another. So if I do dy equals a full block, but am I still recommending the space key, clear keys? So it's key code space should give me, so let's move the block down. Let's see, highlight the collision, update the block collision. Where's the move block by? Here we are. Otherwise, no collision, so move it. What I want to do is limit move block so that it only moves it down when the actual key is held down. Oh, hi, Leth. Good to see you. Wow, almost the first other person to join in a while. It's been quite a quiet stream today. Just been chatting away with just a couple of us. But so it's move block. I only want move block to update if the key isn't pressed. I know what I can do. I can just do if self.keys but if not self.key press space, then dy equals 0. That should hopefully just not move it down until I press the space key. Oh, I've got to actually press the. There we go. But it's. See, our keyboard repeat rate is biting me again. So at least if I do that, I might get a chance to let go of the space bar in order to get one block at a time. Yeah. Right, let's move that down. Ooh. Got that wrong. What I'm doing, if you just joined, is trying to figure out a way of getting my blocks to slide into little gaps which are built as part of the stack. So this one now, why is it? It's on a half boundary. I need another key to snap it into place. So let's do. Actually, I might as well use the space key. Now I use the grid aligned positioning somewhere else. What was my function? I rewrote this the other day. Get block aligned grid position. That's it. Do I use that in here? There we go. Aligned position. So I was using this the other day to align blocks when sliding. So what I want to do is do it here. Right. And I'm going to go back to my repeat delay 0. Back in here. Let's see. Repeat delay plus equals 1000 divided by 60 milliseconds, and then if repeat delay is greater than half a second, then I do that, and I will also do that. dy equals 0. Oh no. Else dy equals 0. So I want this. No, I want the block alignment to occur all the time, don't I? Is that going to do what I think it's going to do? Nope, might have crashed. Repeat delay is not defined. It's self.repeat delay, isn't it? Okay, so it's coming down, and then I drop it quickly. No, I don't want that. How can you even do a key held down feature? With I must have missed something totally fundamental with Cocos2d-JS, such that holding the key down, it has to be a way of figuring out when a key is pressed and when it's released. So I'm going to look into that more closely. Even now, it's awkwardly determining making it awkward to implement my feature. Let's see. It's a debounce is what I want, isn't it? So what I'm going to do is, if the space bar is pressed, so if the space bar is not pressed, dy is 0, so the block won't move. If the space bar is pressed, we increment the repeat delay, and once it gets to 500, we then move the block. Otherwise we set dy equals 5, dy equals 0. So let's try that. Right, if I hold down space, here we go, one block at a time. If I let go, it stops. Right, and I can, close enough, I'm just using this fairly, every half a second I can live with that. And it's doing it absolute grid cells at a time, which is good. Oh, I don't want that space. The next one, lovely, just the block I want. I'm holding the down key, but fast drop isn't going to work because I've overridden all those key handling features. Perfect. Now I want this one. It's all green. It should green there, green there, green there, green there. Oh, sorry, red there. Yep. And now it's green, so I can slot it in. So it is that absolute positioning that needs to be completely on the grid boundaries for the slotting in to work. Right. Phew, after all that, I have decided that the thing I thought it might be is it. So let's see how we can fix that. Ooh, we're on the hour. I might be able to fix this now. So this collision, this was just me I suppose what it is there is a point where the block is dropping down when it should be within a 1 pixel threshold of the actual aligned position. And when that's the case, I need to do the collision testing for left and right based on that actual aligned block position. So I'm going to borrow this bit of code. And we're going to put it in the test left and right. The main bit left and right is here. So test to see if the falling block can move sideways. So the position on the X, okay, adjust the Y position if the block is aligned with the grid. So how am I going to work out 1 pixel? So I need 1 pixel size. I want to use 1 pixel so you don't see anything moving. If the block has to be aligned before it shifts left and right. But when it slots left or right, it has to go exactly on that boundary if it's slotting into a space. So I need 1 pixel size. So what's that going to be? That's going to be, I know a pixel, so it's going to be, I know the block cell, the grid cells are 50 by 50. and we're moving at a rate of 1/60th of a block size per update. So it's going to be that. So it's going to be dy. No, it doesn't tell me how many pixels there actually are. I suppose I could just do a simple fiddle for now. We'll work the exact value out later. So let's do, where am I going? Here we are. Here. That. Adjust the Y position for a block aligned with the grid. So if, so what we want is new block position dot y minus aligned pos dot y. I want the absolute of that. Math.abs is let's say it's less than, I could do less than 1, I might do less than 2. Then new block position, what is new block underscore position? What did I do there? New block underscore position. Right. My mouse pointer was just in the way. New block position dot y equals aligned pos dot y. So that should effectively allow the collision to occur. This bit of code is now relatively unnecessary, and it's not going to help me. So let's see what that does. We're testing new block position, right? Oh, it's going to slide. Where do I want? I'm going to reset that. I want a nice even single celled spot to drop my block into. There. Right, so hopefully if I shift left, yes, it worked. It shifted in at least. Fantastic. And I think when it gets locked into the grid, it gets aligned. So the alignment kind of handles itself there. Let's do another one. Let's see if I can shift one across when it's about to collide with the block below it. Let's see what happens. Oh, I'm just getting all these green blocks now. Random number generators. There we go. Right. So if I hold the key down, dink, yes, it shifts in. Perfect. And what about on the very bottom? Well, that's at least that's kind of working. It's how I intended to implement my my shifted into the gaps. Dink. Oh, that didn't work. That's a little bit of a shame. Possibly something going wrong there. I wonder why not. Yeah, I'll just check it goes the other way as well. There we go. I'm going to slide that block in there. Oh, I missed it. No, that's going to do the wrong thing. Oh no, that'll work. There we go. Right. Oh, this one should slide. Yes. Okay, I wonder why it didn't slide down on the ground on the very baseline. Yeah, it didn't. Possibly because it's already bypassing this bit of code somewhere else. Let's see. That's collide block. Don't tend to move it sideways. Is it because it's actually going to collide when it's below that line? No, it does. I just had a thought that it might be that when it's on the very bottom cell, it's not going to move sideways, no matter what you do. Yes, definitely works. Okay, so that's still good. Oh, live coding TV back. Good to see you again. So it's kind of working a little bit sort of fudged at the moment. I wonder if it'll still work if I set that to less than 1. Because the how did you even come up with the name AquaStax? Because the game isn't aquatic. Well, it is. The original game, I can show you my animated GIF, or GIF, as you prefer, had water falling or rising up. And if I can find it, AquaStax reference, here we go. So the as you can see, the block's coming down, and there's water at the bottom of the level. Actually, this animation doesn't show it very much, but it rises up as you play the game. So you have to build your stack and allow the little guys to escape the water. So it's aqua for the water and stacks obviously for the stack going on. I just haven't got as far as implementing the rest of the game yet. I'm only working on the stacks. All right. The actual coming up with the name, I think, was a group effort. When I wrote it, I was working at a company, of course, and there were several people involved in the project, an artist and a designer. And we all just banded some ideas around on a forum that was actually public to the whole company. So there was about 40 of us at the time, all working in the same place. We just like threw a load of ideas around for games or game names, and that one seemed to stick. So new block position equals. Well, I was just going to try this 1, wasn't I? All right. Let's see. I need that. I need that. That. Another one of those. Actually, I'm not going to put that one in there. Put it on there. That one. All right. Right, let's hold the key down. Dink. Oh, it moved, interestingly enough, but then it shifted down. Now there's an interesting glitch, probably because it was actually too far below the block. Interesting. Yeah, I wonder if 3 makes the same assumption. I'm going to figure out what this number should actually be at some point soon, based on the it's going to be based on the grid size and the pixel height of the screen and things like that. Yeah, see, that worked. But actually, I caught in my eye, I glimpsed the fact that slid to the left into the space a little bit too early. It was a pixel too early, and then it settled into the spot. Now, is this one going to slide? Because it might be colliding with the ground. No, that one worked okay. Okay, one last thing to do. Yeah, it jumped a little bit too early. Kind of looks like it works. I'm going to leave that at 2. And then, actually, speaking out loud, will a 3 allow me to put one on the ground floor? There we go, that's what I want. Holding it to the right, and that did jump in, interestingly. So there's obviously, maybe it's like 2.5 is the ideal value that should be put in there, and it's probably some number related to the pixel size and the grid space. But by pixel size, I mean actual pixels on the screen. And in fact, I don't even mean pixels on the screen. I mean the kind of boundary of these blocks where it subtly overlaps the actual size of the grid. Just so that when it moves, you don't see it shift when it's aligned with the grid precisely. Ah, this is perfect as a little block. I should be able to shift that to the right now by holding the key in. Yep, and it does. Okay, so that's quite pleasing. I wonder if some of these pointy blocks will do the right thing as well. Let's put that there. Let's see if I can't get one to slide in underneath that point. Here we go, perfect. Right, so I want to make sure I let it go past, hold it down, slot. Excellent, it's slotting in. Ooh, 2 of them in the same time. Let's see if I can slot that into the left. Yep. Now we've almost got a game that's playable now. although I'm a little unsure about this keyboard repeat rate. The fact that I don't control it means it might be very different on different devices, even different browsers or different machines. And also, I'm not sure where this magic number, where does this magic number 2.5 come from? So I'm going to work that out next stream, I think. Do I want to leave these things in here? No, we'll get rid of those. That was all test code that I can remove. I want to delete the move highlight and the repeat delay. Did we stop using that entirely? Yeah, that's nowhere. Right. So I'll just comment the fact that I did this adjustment. Where are we? It does adjust the Y position if the block should be aligned to the grid. This lets the blocks slide left and right into tight gaps. Okay. Test if the falling block can move sideways. That's actually this bit is project the block sideways for a collision test. Ooh. Test block. Test to see if, well, and then we do the straight down bit. So it's collision left and right, then straight down. Right. Okay, that's still working. This one should work as well, shouldn't it? Yep. Interestingly, it should probably jump in at that point when it goes beyond the halfway mark, shouldn't it? Because once the block is beyond the halfway, it should jump in, or is it? No, maybe not actually. No, it's only when it gets to the very bottom. I'm mistaken there. It's only when it gets to the very bottom will it actually allow, will the slope allow the overlap to occur properly. Let's try that again. One like that. Yeah, because it jumps all the way. It's only when it gets to the bottom, and that didn't actually work. Yeah, I was holding my key down there, but it didn't work. Hold the key down again. I expect, due to the keyboard repeat rate that I'm not controlling, where in fact the left and right movement is only triggered off of the repeat rate at a certain, I don't know what the rate actually is. It's probably about once every 100th of a second or so. I'm not going to time that, but there's still a possibility that the block will slide past the point where it can shift in between two frames, and on that frame the actual key pressed for the left or right is false because of this repeat where it's going press released. So if it's false, it wouldn't actually do the collision test. And then in one frame it wouldn't do it, next frame it should do it, but it won't for one reason, and then carries on and it avoids the slide. So I'm definitely going to have to fix that. Alright, what I'm going to do is fix blocks sliding into place. Partially done, but need to understand the how to align the blocks vertically properly. Currently there's a 2.5 magic number in the Y offset. Figure out how the keyboard repeat works and decide if possible to, if it's possible, to use actual key pressed released key released function. That's, I'm going to put a couple of asterisks by that because I'm very confused about what's going on there, but I will do a bit of investigation and then hopefully come back and it will all be magically working next week. Or actually no, I'll do the investigation, then I will fix it next week on the stream. So the next stream is going to be Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. UK time. It's the 9th today. Update that. Right. Let's commit this to GitHub as well. There we go, refactor. Ooh, the server fingerprint has changed. Is this correct? You might indicate, this might indicate a security problem. When in doubt, I wonder if api.github.com certificate has changed. Ooh, oh no, I'm not looking. I've just noticed my browser window over here might have been on the stream, but it's not. Now it is. Go away. Gonna close that. Right. GitHub developer guide certificate changed. Anything happened recently? GitHub. That's 2003. That one. There obviously aren't any most recent credentials. Okay, I want any more recent ones. Why is SmartGit warning me about that then? It says, when in doubt, contact your administrator. I mean, it should be okay. They probably just renewed their certificate, so the fingerprint's changed. I'm going to accept it, but there might be something funky going on there. I'll dig into that a bit more. Oh, hi, Rupinero. Hopefully that's how you pronounce your name. Good to see you. I was just closing up the stream for today. I've done an hour and 20 minutes now. Going to commit this stuff to GitHub if it lets me. Okay. Fixed up the block sliding into small gaps. Although there's a magic number that needs sorting. Okay, might as well just push that straight away. Okay, gone. With that. Right. Thank you very much for watching. Much appreciated, Luke or Rukwatoni. You must tell me how you pronounce your name, and then I'll know next time. And she'll see you guys and girls on Thursday. No, what did I say? Tuesday evening, wasn't it? Yes. So Thursday today, Tuesday evening, next stream. Great. Thanks very much again for watching, and I shall see you soon. Cheerio. There we go. Had to get my splash screen up, and then we can stop streaming.